lot of times what happens is that people are taking pain medications based on their doctor's recommendations for a variety of different circumstances. Sometimes, unfortunately, it's not as clean and as clear cut as we'd like to believe. So, but I will tell you this, pain medications usually can tell me, or at least tells me, a lot about the severity of the pain in your case. For instance, if you're taking certain things like over-the-counter medication, Tylenol, ibuprofen, Advil, I can understand that tells me that you're in pain, but the level of pain it tells me is maybe not as severe. Or maybe a middle of the road type of medication, like, I think like Flexeril, Tramadol, something like that. Or your stronger medications like OxyContin or Percocet, morphine sulfate may tell me a lot that you have a condition that has a higher level of intensive pain. But here's the problem with people when people rely solely on the fact that they're taking their medication, taking certain medication. And I cannot stress this enough. The medications you're taking is only a part of the picture of what's going on with you. In order to paint a more accurate picture, you have to ask yourself, let's look at the medications you're taking and what are the circumstances involved in why you're taking the medication, and do the medical records support it? Like, let me give you a good example. For instance, I can see somebody right now saying to me, oh, I'm taking ibuprofen and Tylenol, or you're talking to a representative and you're telling them and they're asking you, what kind of medications you're taking, and you tell them Tylenol, ibuprofen over the counter, and they say, okay, well, it's not that bad. But the reality is, the reason why you're taking it is because, one, you're going to a free clinic. Two, that's the most significant medication they can provide to you because of the whole notion and culture right now of narcotic pain medication. They're leery about prescribing that, and they would prefer to let a specialist, whether it be orthopedist, neurologist, rheumatologist, pain management doctor, provide you those medications. And three, you may have prescriptions for more significant pain medications, but because you don't have insurance, you can't afford it. So it's important to not just be fixated on the medication you're taking, but it's also important to paint a picture of why you're taking it. So that's the low end. But also let's look at the high end as well. You're taking OxyContin, you're taking Percocet. Those are significant narcotic pain medications. So you now have to ask the question, what medical evidence do you have that supports that you need to take medications of that severity? Then the other questions come into play. Let's say that you've had back surgery in the past and it didn't work. And so all of a sudden now you're taking that. The question then is asked, if you're taking such heavyweight narcotics, what treatment plan does your doctor have you on to hopefully steer you in a direction so that taking those types of medications are no longer an option? Whether they be, epidural shots in your back, whether they be like ablations, whether it be a TENS unit, whether it be a stimulator or anything like that. All of those things are important because you want to be able to show the court, listen, I'm not just popping pills because the doctor just feels like they're just, maybe if I give him some medication, he'll be all right. Nobody wants to be on these medications, and especially for narcotic medications for a long period of time. But it's important that you help paint the picture to the court of how your pain medications that you're taking coincides with the medical evidence that you have. This way you're not thinking that just because you're taking significant pain medications like Percocet or morphine sulfate that your case is great, or that you're thinking on the other hand that because you're only taking over the counter that it stinks. Everything has to be in relation to the weight of all of the evidence and whether or not you can paint a picture for Social Security as to how the medications that you're taking for your pain coincides with the treatment that you're receiving.
Tune in tomorrow as we discuss handling your mental health case.